We're required to act in certain cases like child abuse. And, if a patient is going to harm themselves or another person is another example of some place where we're, required to act, and we're sort of legally obligated to act. And in those cases, even, report to outside agencies. So those are special cases, and I think we have to be perhaps a little bit more direct with the patient in those cases than we otherwise would be.
If any time you're suspicious of something because you observe something on the child, like a physical manifestation, my approach to this is to ask the parent about it, to say, can you tell me what happened here? Many times there will be a very good explanation. You should always be skeptical of that information if you, have already been suspecting something. But say, for instance, there's a scar on someone's leg or a scar on someone's face, asking the parent, oh, what happened there, in a non-judgmental way, can be really helpful, and sometimes will get you the information that you need. If what you think is that a child is not sharing something with you because they're afraid of their parent, then saying, maybe we should have this conversation with Johnny alone, or maybe I should have this conversation with Johnny alone. That can get tricky because sometimes a parent who has something to hide will not want you to talk to their child alone. And I think that it really depends on the quality of your evidence or your suspicion about how forceful you want to be. If the concern is the child is at risk, then it's very important. And you figure out what you need to do, whether it's getting the parent out of the room or talking to the child alone or getting a therapist in your office or a social worker in your office to have this conversation with them to reassure the child that everything's okay. You should just have a very open conversation with the parent indicating that you're planning on calling ACS or Child Protective Services, and do that with the patient. I have done that with patients in the room, and sometimes that helps to establish connection with the family, to say, this is why I'm concerned about this, this is why I'm calling. Many times families will understand that. They might be mad at you, but they will sometimes understand that. I can say honestly that I've, in my 5 years of practicing medicine, I've probably called ACS 6 times on patients. Every single one of my patients has continued to follow with me even after the ACS case was called. So I think that parents, if you bring them in on the process, recognize that your intention is the protection of their child. And if there's nothing to be concerned about, then they will, maybe angrily, but still cooperatively go along with the process.